Hi, everybody. My name is Katie. I am the Notary Relations Director of BlueNotary, and today I have Sue Hope here. She is from Notary Assist. It is a software. How would you describe your business?
Oh, well, I appreciate that. So Notary Assist is a software suite that helps notaries take care of organizing, managing, and marketing their notary business. So we help them stay on top of the things that are outside of the notary world, like the accounting, the bookkeeping, the calendar management, the mileage expenses, and then marketing. Marketing's constant. We have to have any kind of help we can to get our services out there to our community. So that's what we help do.
Yes, yes. And I remember, so we met actually at the Loan Sign, the NNA conference. So that was super fun.
I got to be at your table at the gala.
I know. It was so nice. And when I remember we talked our ear about, and you were like, you can expense report this and add this into Notary Assist. So I'm so glad that you came. This is so nice.
Yeah, well, I'm excited to be here. Thank you for inviting me. I'm excited to share. And it was funny because we both talked. You were like, oh my gosh, I love reports. I'm like, yeah, so do I.
Yeah. Yeah.
We were kindred spirits from the get-go.
Yes, exactly. I know because I mean, just for the general public, if you don't know, I'm a notary too. So I'm a notary in the state of Florida. I run my own business as well. And that is one of the things that is like super hard for me to get my head around. And I dread tax season just because trying to keep track of everything, like if you like just don't even answer about taxes. Look at but that is something that your platform does, correct? Like,
It's going to take us year out of taxes. I mean, sadly, it's a necessary evil. I mean, we have the amazing opportunity to be notaries and to help our public. And we get to do so many different things. It's such a cool time to be a notary. I mean, I've been a notary in California since, 1999. Me and Prince, baby, we are buddies. But it's been a hot second, and the role of a notary has been pretty consistent across our history for decades and centuries. But I mean, what we do now is even so much more diverse than what we've ever done in the past. And we're so essential to any transaction. One of my favorite quotes is from Laura Buer. She was at the NNA. She's been a fantastic resource for notaries across the United States. She says, "We are the hinges that swing big doors." So I love that quote. I'm always going to give her credit for that. But it kind of speaks volumes to what we do and what we facilitate. We're important pieces that without us, it wouldn't be as easy or it wouldn't be as smooth. So it's a really cool way to think about what we do. But with that, we have to keep track of everything that we do because we're not working for a company. So we're our own companies now. So we have to really think about how we manage our business. We are the CEOs of our own companies and our corporations, and we have to act like that. So Notary Assist was designed to help make that part of our job easier. It's not what we actually got into notary to do, but it's what comes along with it when we get into our business. So Notary Assist is here to help really facilitate success of a business. So if you have a good foundation and a good system, you're more likely to succeed. So that's what Notary Assist is about, to give you that foundation and that system so you can succeed.
Yes. Well, I love that too, because it's like, I think I said it before, but like basically as you were going through the process and you told me a little bit of your story, like you saw a need for it and you basically made it in the way that you would want a program to be, which is great. I was listening to some podcasts and doing some research about Notary Assist just so that I had a little bit, more, yeah. But everything had really, really good reviews. Everybody said that how helpful it was for their business. And then I wanted to delve into, you said that there was some new things that you are rolling out and have already rolled out.
Yeah. So, goodness, let's start with why did it come about? Well, when I got started in this industry, there wasn't a software tool that was designed for our industry. there was QuickBooks and there was, I think, Quicken and Peachtree. There were some accounting softwares, but for me personally, and maybe this is just a tell for me, it was overwhelming. And it was, if you weren't an accountant, it didn't make sense. I wanted something that was powerful but simple. I needed to know where I needed to go, and none of those have a calendaring feature. I needed to know what time I needed to be there. I needed organization for my calendar in addition to all of the revenue, the mileage, and the expenses. But I needed to keep it simple. I don't know the nuances of accounting. I'm not a CPA. I am not a tax professional. So I needed to keep it simple so I could stay on track and stay compliant and be prepared for tax time, but without being overwhelmed and being stuck behind a computer or manually writing stuff down. The other options that were available were manual. I know in California, we have to keep a journal. Not every state's required to keep a journal, so I'm not sure about Florida, but it's always best practice to keep a journal. And that's a lot of writing. So if you spend all day notarizing and writing stuff down, then you've got these logs or you're keeping tabs with another pen and paper. My carpal tunnel was out of control. So we needed to automate something, but when you don't have something that's constantly tallying, it's a daunting task to manually tally at the end.
Yeah.
So I was the proverbial shoebox with a ton of receipts that I was organized because I was putting mileage in one place, my expenses in one place, and my income in one place. Well, these proverbial shoeboxes full of paper didn't organize themselves other than me chucking them in there. So I had them in my 3 boxes, but I was buried under paper. So, and then it would take so much time at the end of the year to actually manually tally them all that I was actually turning down work.
Yeah.
So now all of a sudden you're losing revenue because you're having to do what's required of us to file taxes. So that didn't seem very productive to me. So we came out with a solution that would not only help organize, give you sanity so you're not double booking yourself. I mean, how many times I've double booked myself between my kids, my sporting events, pickup, doctor's appointments, and signings, because you just want to say yes. You want to say yes all the time so that you're the best help for your client as possible. But then your mouth sometimes gets ahead of what's actually on your calendar. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh, now I've got to reschedule this. I've got to reschedule that. And then now it's a challenge. And then the stress and the anxiety. And so we decided to streamline it so that you could have a place to manage your calendar, manage your expenses, manage your invoicing, and your income all in one place. So that right there became so much more helpful, and you could rest a little bit easier at night. So you're like, okay, this is at least organized and I've got this going on.
Yeah.
Then came in learning. I mean, when we decided to open Notary Assist, I was not a business owner. I mean, I had never run a software company and I didn't understand. I mean, so I drank through a fire hose for the first few years. I mean, it was crazy, but exciting at the same time. So now I've got years worth of, Notary Assist was launched in 2007 at the NNA conference in downtown LA. And I literally had a table and some CDs and some t-shirts, because that's what I figured everybody wanted a t-shirt and come to my booth if I had a t-shirt and they might ask me what I was selling. So that's how I started. And thank God it was received well. And I got to meet thousands of notaries from across the country. And that's where it started. I mean, so all of a sudden notaries were like, oh my gosh, there's something for us, just us in our industry that was unique to us. So that was fantastic. And that's how we got going. And now we work with notaries from across the country, Hawaii to Maine and everywhere in between, and Florida. I'm going to catch Florida State down there. So, I'm super proud of it. And I think we even have a couple of notaries that are international, but in the United Territories, like
Yeah.
some of, I've got notaries that work for the military or that are stationed abroad, and they still can use it. But that's really, I'm very proud to know that I'm helping others
Industry. Yeah.
in the industry, and we listen to their feedback. So it's a lot of a partnership now, and I'm still out in the field. I'm still out doing notarizations, just like a lot of our clients are.
Yeah.
And so we listen and we brainstorm. So it's a community within our notary community that communicates, and we learn about what's needed in the industry. So right now in 2023, interest rates have risen, and we're coming off of the high from 2020 and 2022 through 2022, where we had really, really historically low interest rates. And now real estate market's a little stalled, and we're not seeing as many real estate transactions. So our notaries are like diversifying like crazy.
Yeah.
So now we had to evolve too. So Notary Assist is the only software in this space that allows you to track not only the real estate transactions like loan signings and reverse mortgages and HELOCs and purchases, sales, commercial loans, you name it, any loan that's under loan signing. But we also help you track specialty and general notary work like hospitals, planning, reservation notarizations, DMVs, I-9s, you name it. Notaries are doing so much.
Yeah.
Some notaries are going into jails and prisons so that the inmates can get a document notarized. It's an incredible time to be a notary because we are a service industry. So wherever our community needs us is where we go. So just so many opportunities are out there, and notaries are constantly evolving. And so Notary Assist gives the ability to track all of it.
Yeah. Which is like so big too. And there's two things. One, I can definitely tell that it's been tailored specifically for notaries, and that's great because I saw on there that you guys do directions too.
Oh yeah, turn by turn, baby.
It is incredible. The more that I looked into it, the more I was like, oh my gosh, this is perfect. Like I don't do mobile notary as much, but it is so, I used to get lost all the time.
The struggle is real, especially when we switch time, like when it's daylight savings and we switch into it and it gets dark sooner.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
I cannot tell you how many times I've showed up to the wrong house.
So you're not alone. You're not alone.
The directions are a good thing. But then also the other thing that I'm happy that you brought up is the diversification of the like as notaries, what you are getting into as far as like, yes, the loan signings are a little bit tricky right now to try and get, like that is a little bit different, but to introduce different diverse income streams exactly for this reason, or if there is a downturn in the loan signings, you're basically pivoted towards still having an income, like still being able to pay your bills, still being able to feed your family. So that's
exactly
our adding that in there as a support network thing, because when I first started out, I felt so like kind of alone, and it was like, well, I don't know how to do the QuickBooks, like that doesn't make any sense, like I have to add that extra thing for the taxes for the notaries, like there's intricacies that I didn't feel were out there. And then I found Notary Assist. I'm like, this is like literally perfect. Is exactly what you would need. So good job.
Yay, thank you. And we're constantly pushing the envelope to make it even easier. The release of our business center in January of this year was where we actually rolled out our loan signings is what the category is.
Yeah.
But then there's intricacies underneath it. So we break down the loan signing industry. So any loan that we might notarize
Mm-hmm.
is a potential revenue stream, and you might want to see what's happening and to bring clarification into what's trending, like our purchases and refis dropping, but my sales and my HELOCs are rising.
Mm-hmm.
Now, why would that be important for a notary? Well, that's because now if we're working with title and escrow, we can now focus on what they need. What's the whole way that we get relationships and we build relationships is to know what's going on in our industry.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can see what's trending in real time, you're going to be more likely to be able to go to your contacts at your escrow office or your title company or your lenders and say, I'm here. I've closed 700 HELOCs in the last 2 years. I know how to help with that. I'm trained in that. Or maybe reverse mortgages are taking off because our population is getting to a point where they're aging and we've got more in that age range in those types of opportunities. So now you want to be able to express, I'm happy to work with that community of seniors that may take a little bit longer. Those documents take longer than a HELOC. And not every notary wants to do that. So if you can carve out a niche for yourself and then back it up with real-time data, now you can go in to your escrow officers, your title companies, and be able to express to them, I'm your notary and here's why. I can help you because this is what I've done. This is my body of work. And this is how I can help you and your company grow in this area that's trending right now. So it kind of makes you look very intelligent, very professional. You're taking that step to be a smart businessman or woman in the industry. And we're super excited for that. So, and then we take it to the next level as far as this general specialty. Now we're breaking down all the specialties. Are you focusing on adoptions or travel documents for minors? Are you going to hospitals and courthouses? Are you going to, are you doing DMV services? Some states offer, notaries help with the transactions between title transfers and stuff like that. So every state has so many uniquenesses, and Notary Assist helps break those all down so that you can succeed in your area. But then we even went a little bit further because so many notaries are having an opportunity now to do things that you don't even need your notary for, your commission. For example, permit running is taking off in California. Process serving, field inspections. So these are some things that you can do. You might need a little bit of training for them, but you don't need to have your notary work. Well, what about exam proctors? We've already been background checked and fingerprinted, so we have an opportunity to potentially offer these types of services at local colleges, or think of anything that might have an in-person exam. Now we can be a proctor, and is a way for you to generate revenue. Well, on that, so now under other, you can actually break down all these other services that you might provide outside of your notary services that are revenue streams. You can track those, but you don't stop there. Now you can see your notary revenue, which is going to be loan signings and specialty general. And then you can see your other revenue over here and separate. Why? Because you don't want to commingle that. So when you do your reporting, now you can see how much revenue did I make in my notary business, which is a combination of my loan signings and my specialty. And then how much did I make in exam proctoring? How much did I make in fingerprint? How much did I make in field inspections? And when you run these reports, they're all separate. They all have their own revenue. They all have their own expenses. They all have their own mileage. And that's going to make your tax professional so happy. And you're completely keeping everything from commingling, which is a big no-no in the tax world. So we're keeping you compliant with any opportunity that you have to generate revenue. And we're the only ones that do that.
That is genius, because I have a friend, I'm not going to say her name, but I have a friend that just smashes everything together, because she does permits and then she does the notary work and then she just smashes it all together. So I'm going to tell her about that, because I know that there's she's probably not alone in the fact that
Probably not at all. And you have to work with your tax professional because every single person has a unique tax situation. And I'm not a tax professional. So I did work with tax professionals on this piece that we put together.
Yeah.
So based on their feedback, this is what the cleanest is and most happily accepted by tax professionals. So I would recommend you talk to your tax professional and see what's best for you and your business. If you need to do it this way, and this way, or can you do it this way and combine this? That's for the tax professional to determine. So everybody's different. And so when it comes to taxes and tax breaks and what should I use and what should I not use?
by state, it varies.
It is. So you always don't look at anybody else. Focus on your business. Talk to the right people to help guide you because you are special and unique. Everybody's unique. So everybody has a unique business. Everybody has a unique tax liability. So we have to remember that.
Yeah.
And it's hard to kind of lump it all together because there's no one size fits all.
Yeah. So the other thing that I wanted to kind of go into, and you mentioned it a little bit, but you have a new thing that is called Notary Assist marketing. Yeah, go a little bit into that because I love marketing. I will talk about it all the time. And I think it's so important for like the notary business, especially because when I first started out, I basically thought that I was just going to like put up an open sign and then everybody was going to flock to me. And when that didn't happen, I was like, what am I doing wrong? Like, why are people like,
why are they cuddling with me?
Yeah. So I try and give the notaries a little bit of a push start or like best practices on like, and it sounds like you're on point too with that as well.
Well, thank you. So we launched, it'll be 2 years old in October. We launched a marketing or SEO search engine optimization platform to try and focus and target notaries to be displayed in their local area, offering those services that they want to focus on. So every notary is different. Like we just talked about, everybody's different. They run their business uniquely. So what works in California may not work in Florida and vice versa. Or you might have things that you can offer in Florida that we can't offer in California. But it goes even more microscopically than that. What works in Gainesville may not work in Miami and vice versa. So you can actually advertise and target that you're a notary offering these services in this county, this zip code, this city, and we want to help bolster your digital presence when a client, John and Jane Public, sit down in front of any device or any search engine and start typing in, I need a notary.
Yeah.
Most of the time, the public doesn't even know what a notary public is until they get a document in the mail or from an attorney or from a company or a pension that says, oh, by the way, you need to get this notarized. And then they're on the journey of trying to find a notary. Now, this is different from the loan signing agencies and stuff like that, or the signing services, because now we're talking about general and specialty notary work versus loan signings. So what we're focusing on is the general notary work that needs to be done, a document, an affidavit, a pension agreement or a beneficiary statement. These are things that need to be done every day, multiple times a day across the country. And notaries are trying to advertise to the local community that I can do that. And that's what Notary Assist marketing does. So we build out a profile. We help you optimize that digital footprint by breaking your services down into a short description, a long description. Where do you perform your services? What are the services you perform? Who are you affiliated with? Like, are you part of the Better Business Bureau? Are you part of the local Chamber of Commerce? Are you part of the National Notary Association, Loan Signing Systems, NBB, Notary Business Builder, Notary Rotary? These are all affiliations that each one of us gravitate towards and we become a part of their network. So we're going to advertise this as part of our unique business. And sometimes people will search for you based on, oh, I'm affiliated with the Pennsylvania Association of Notaries, so I'm going to go with somebody who's works with them. So it's a way for us to advertise our services in our local area, in the affiliations that it's creating our own little bubble.
Yeah.
And we want to advertise our services in that bubble. It's very targeted. And we will help you. We interview you. We get to know you. We create a template that's designed specifically for you. And then we onboard you. And what does that mean? We go through and we show you how to use our portal. So when you make your changes or your updates, we press it across 50 plus platforms.
I saw that.
Sharing this information, not only with Google, but with Yelp, with Nextdoor, Yellow Pages. Some of your clients, believe it or not, are still going to be using the Yellow Pages. They're digital now, but we want to have a footprint there so that we're more likely to be found by that particular client. We cannot control if a client is using Siri or Google. So we want to put our footprint on both places. We're Yahoo or AOL or whatever. We want to try and be out there as big as possible for as many people to find us as possible. So that's step one. Step two is we know that in the service industry, if somebody's looking to have you come to their home, reviews are hugely important. So we want to help you get reviews, professional reviews about the services that you offer in your service area as easily as possible. It has to become something that we ask for as soon as we sit down to the signing table. Thank you so much for allowing me to work with you today. I'm a small business, and as you know, small businesses thrive on reviews. I would be appreciative if you could let others know that you had a great experience with my prompt, my professional notary services. And why am I using prompt professional? Now, whatever keywords you're deciding to use on your website, you get reviews for. So whatever you decide, if I'm top rated, it's a little hard to say I'm top rated, but I did high quality top rated service for you is how you would ask. And you want to prompt that way when you're asking for reviews. This will all help build on itself because SEO is consistent, longevity, it all builds on itself. So it's not something that happens overnight. It slowly builds over time. So these search engines will be more comfortable and confident displaying your information to the public that's searching.
That is a genius. That is genius about that suggestion because like one, power of suggestion is 100% real, but two, that's such a good idea. Like I wouldn't have thought about that as like a little tip or like a trick or anything, and to be like, that's a good idea.
It all boils down to something as simple as if you want to be the best notary in Gainesville, Florida, and you advertise yourself as the best mobile notary in Gainesville, Florida, you want to make sure that you're getting reviews from your clients. Oh my gosh, she was the best. You want to use that somehow in your statement. She was the best. She came to me. I didn't have to go to her. She made it easy. I just can't wait to use her again. She definitely is the best in Gainesville. You know what I mean? A review like that goes so far. So you have to pick the words that you want to focus on. If you want to be professional, if you want to be accurate, speedy, it's all about focusing on the keyword that you want to be remembered for. I mean, I've got a notary who's speedy to you. So she uses speedy in everything, and that's her keyword, and that's what she wants to do, and she does well with that. And so it just depends on what market you're in, what state you're in. Think about where you are, what your clientele is, and build a profile around that so that you're more likely to stand out.
That's really, really good. So do you have any tips on how to ask basically like for referrals as well, like when you're at the table or just in general? Or
of course, a referral is a professional hug. I'm a hugger, so I'm always going to give you a hug but a referral is a professional hug. That's what I always call it. And if I'm sitting down at the table while I'm asking for that professional review from my client,
Yeah.
and if you ever think of, or if you ever hear that somebody else might need it, I would love if you would consider referring my business or my services to your friends and family.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with asking for that.
No.
Think about it from, let me think of something like your hairdresser or your nail salon. If you're going and you're patronizing them and building their business and you really like their service, you probably say, oh my gosh, you've got to go see Nikki. She does the best hair in town.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? She probably just got a client because you referred her. Word of mouth and referrals actually carries a lot of weight when it comes to a service industry. If you're confident that somebody came to your home and took care of your notary acts professionally and took care of it, you're probably going to refer them. And guess what? That referral will probably get that person hired because you've already vetted them. You've already sampled their service. So it goes a long way. So don't be afraid to ask for referrals. That's how we build confidence in our community.
That's exactly right. And then just, you can also do it at the end. So this is, if you are doing Ron, you can also do it at the end of your send-off for when you're about to do finish the notarization, when you're about to hit complete session. That's also a really good time probably to ask for a referral of if there's anyone that also would need a notary, how would you say that? If there's someone else
if you feel that, or if you find anybody that needs my types of services, please feel free to let them know we are available. Ron is so new. A lot of people don't even really know about it or trust it or are used to thinking that it's real or legitimate.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't turn that off. It's a way for us to educate our community. It's important for us as notary publics. We're here for our community. We are public servants. So part of that means we're educating our community on what's available to them. Yeah. And a lot of times they don't even realize that a Ron is even available. Now, how nice would that be to be able to sit behind a computer? Now, not every client's going to be doing really well on the other side of a computer to do digital signing. It might just be easier to drive to them and take care of it in person. But that's up to you all based on your business model. Yeah. So what works for you? But yeah, the other thing that I would throw out is having something, Notary Assist marketing does help you queue up or spin up a URL, a unique URL, and we give you a QR code. So if you're in a Ron session at the very end, you could cut and paste and put a little QR code on the screen, and you can direct them to, here's my QR code for a review. All they have to do is scan it with their phone while they're on the screen with you, and it takes them right to your review link. And now you can get a review. Literally, they can see it in the lower corner, they scan it, and now they're giving you a review while you're on the session.
That's a really good idea too. I wonder how that's a really good idea. So I'm going to have to think about that, yeah. You're giving me so much to think about. This is great. This is great though.
If you want the return client, when you're having a Ron session, you're not just meeting with that client once. You want that client to be a client for life. And every time they need a notarization, to think of you. Now, John and Jane Public may not need a notarization very often. They might only need a notarization once a year, but then you never know who you're sitting across from. They could be a CEO or CFO of a big company, and inside of their company, they need notarizations daily or weekly. And because you did such a nice job with their personal transaction, now you have an in to that corporate opportunity. So you never know who you're sitting across from. So always think about that. That could be a great way for you to have the next revenue line.
Yeah. I always take everything like that the person in front of me is going to be the next person that's going to give me however much business, because that has happened where, there's a title company, which I also, want to impress, but then the signers, when they're in front of me, I try and do the best job. And then they're like, oh, I'm a realtor and I work with these types of clients and I need you all the time. I'm like, thank you. Thank you. So
Realtors have now where they can, if they usually have a team. There's usually a transaction coordinator. And if you can be on their notary team and they send you, when they open escrow, they send an initial information packet to the escrow officer and they say, this is my team. This is going to take care of my transaction coordinator. This is my notary. She or he will do the closing transaction. And this is this. And you're introduced, and the realtor can have a say who's taking care of their client from A to Z.
Correct.
So it's hugely important.
Yeah, I think so too. I really like going to the networking events in general, but I like going to the realtor events too because I think they're so much fun. But you're right, they do have such contact with title companies. And then also, depending on if they're the buyer or the seller representing, they have kind of final say on who's involved with their client. You're right. So, I really like
doors of opportunities.
Yes. Yeah. Do you see any trends or like for successful notaries? Is there anything specific or like, I guess, if you're a new notary or you're struggling, what would your advice be to a new notary or a struggling notary?
The first thing I would say, if you're brand new, start small. Don't overextend yourself. You do not have to do everything. Be really good at one thing at first. When you're just getting out there, get comfortable. Do practice signings at home with your family members or grandparents, parents, whoever, your best friend. Go through the documents and just kind of, even if it's just an affidavit or something simple, just get used to saying an oath, having them raise their right hand. This is important behavior so that when you get to the signing, you're prepared. You've already practiced it. Do it in front of I know it looks cheesy, but do it in front of your computer, do it in front of your mirror, whatever. You just have to get comfortable doing it. That's step one. Step two is keep things simple. You should be able to get started with very minimal expenses. Yes, it's expensive to get your commission and your license and your bond and your E&O insurance. Those are required. But any company, any business, if you're thinking about a business, is going to have some startup costs.
Yeah.
But keep track of all that. That's technical. Put that in as expenses. When you go to file your bond, when you drive to the county clerk's office to say your oath, those are business miles. Record that too. People forget that, or they'll forget that when you go to the store to buy your supplies, those are business miles too. So you have to keep track of all of that. When you're at a networking event for notary work, those are business miles too. Those miles get forgotten a lot. A lot of times you'll remember that I went to this appointment, but you don't remember that I met up with Katie for coffee and we talked about how we could network. She could go to North Florida and I can go to South Florida. All of a sudden that's a business meeting, and that not only is the coffee or the tea expensible, but also the mileage for going there. So these are things that when we're starting out, we think of ourselves as people, individuals, but we're not. We're companies now. We're companies. We have to think of everything as a company.
Yeah.
So that's the great way to start. The other thing too is once you're comfortable and you find your lane of the services you want to offer, because nobody has to offer everything, because then you become really good at necessarily nothing. So be really good at a few things and then add on. And then that's how you get a solid foundation. It's really easy and trendy to say, oh yeah, I do that, because you want to say yes to everything. But it's okay to stay in your lane and offer what you're really good at. The other thing is saving time saving and working smart so that you can have time later. We all want to make revenue, but it's very easy to overwhelm yourself or burn out. I'll be honest. When things take off, and you have to be ready for that, because as a notary, you want to strike while you can, and you want to gain as much revenue as possible, but you also have to take time for yourself. When you work for yourself and you work at home, you don't have a traditional 9 to 5 with a lunch break and 2 breaks in between. You have to get up. You have to walk away from your machine Life is okay. Walk your dog, pet your cat, scratch your bird, do whatever you need to do. It's very hard. But even if your break is 10 minutes, it's hugely important because we're our own engine for our own business.
Yeah.
If we don't do well, then our business doesn't do well. So if we're sick, we don't make money. So you got to think of it that way. So balance is huge. I'm a big proponent of self-care in addition to business care because there's only one of us. So we can't clone ourselves and have somebody do it when we're down. So think about that. Any way that you can save time is incredible. The last thing I'll probably interject is Notary Assist is constantly trying to push the envelope for saving time. And there's a lot of automation capabilities out there now. Try to use what works for you. Our newest feature that we rolled out is our auto importer. And so whenever you get a confirmation email, you can forward that email into Notary Assist. Notary Assist will auto-populate that appointment for you. That's super handy. Now you don't even have to come home in between appointments. You can send it from your phone. We have mobile apps, so for both Apple and Android, so you can communicate from the road with your database and vice versa. You don't have to just be on a computer. But the auto importer will help you forward not only permit running appointments or field inspection appointments or hospital appointments. It'll help you with your loan signing appointments or reverse mortgages. It's very powerful, and it's like having your own personal assistant. So Notary Assist is starting to really be there for you to help you do stuff when you can't. So, and to keep you kind of on track so that at the end of the year, you're spending, I don't know, maybe a couple of minutes running a few reports, and you're off to your tax professional with not pulling out your hair and not saying no to work, so that you can keep doing what it is that you love by just spending a little time inside a Notary Assist every single day.
So if you want to find out more, feel free to check out notaryassist.com. It's just exactly how it's spelled, notaryassist.com. And thank you so much, Sue. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. And there's a free trial too, just so that they can actually sample it. It's for 30 days or 20 new appointments, whichever comes first. I might be a silly business person, but this is what I like to be treated like. So I don't ask you for a credit card. So it's truly free. If you don't like it, there's nothing else that has to happen. If you like it, you hit the red subscribe now button, and that means I'm ready to pay. So red subscribe button means I'm going to put in credit card information, but you don't need to use the free trial. So you can actually try it out, see if you like it. The marketing does not have a free trial. The accounting does. They are two separate things, so you don't get them all under one. The accounting and management is $8.99 a month, or $95 for the whole year. The SEO and the marketing is $59.99 a month. No contracts. Most of my competitors make you sign contracts and spend thousands of dollars. I don't make you do that. See if it works for you. We'll help you get advertising what you're doing in your local area. But the accounting and the management, you can totally try it out for free. See if it works for you. There's so many customizable fields. We haven't even touched on it, but it's truly customizable for your business because each one of us is unique, and you need to have the flexibility to do what works for you. So hopefully you've enjoyed it. And we do have, one thing is that we do have a tech support line. So there's actually a phone number. If you don't know how to use something, you can call us. I'm going to actually give you that phone number right now, so it's on the recording. It's going to be 949, because we're out here in California, 713-3570. And we actually publish that. We're one of the only software companies that actually publishes a phone number, and we actually answer. So you don't have to press 5 different buttons to get to somebody. You actually get a human that answers the phone and says, "Thank you for calling Notary Assist. How can we help you?" So, and we're a bunch of notaries, so we understand the community. We understand the questions that you might be asking. So that also sets us apart from almost any other software in the industry.
Yeah, that's really good that you guys basically know the ins and outs of like what we would actually, really need.